Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the CrossTalk podcast. As usual, I'm joined by the man, the myth, the legend, the man-eating turtle. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. How about you?
I'm doing all right. It's been a decently hectic week. Had a few crazy experiences that I definitely want to get into today. Ooh. But I think a good place to start this podcast would be with the most relevant piece of information that we have today, at least as Nintendo fans, which is today is the day that The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening remastered, or whatever they're calling it. What is it called?
It's just got the same name. They don't have a HD slapped on it. They don't have anything.
Dang, okay. It came out today.
On the website they refer to it as like a reimagining or whatever, but it doesn't say anything like that in the official title.
Huh. That's odd. Is it not? Do they not?
It is, because usually they slap that big HD.
Yeah,
on
Twilight
the title.
Princess HD, Wind Waker HD. I mean, okay, Nintendo, but you got this game, unlike me.
I did. I stayed up until midnight. I walked around Walmart for an hour just to pick this game up. And the reason I went to Walmart and not GameStop is because Walmart was selling it for $10 cheaper than anywhere else you can get it.
Dang, good for Walmart.
Yeah, I think to be competitive, all of their video game prices are $10 cheaper than anywhere else right now.
Dang, that is not bad. And as I'm not a Walmart employee anymore. I used to work there, but my dad works there, so I get a 10% discount at Walmart on top of that. So that is that is not bad. But I actually wasn't able to get Link's Awakening, and it has something to do with my job at Walmart, actually. So I have some money saved up on a card. If you don't know about working at Walmart, which I don't know why anybody would, they give you a little card, and that's where all of your money gets loaded onto when you get paychecks. You have the option to have it get sent to a bank account, but as someone who didn't have a bank account when I started, I was just like, yeah, just give me the card. I mean, why not? And so they gave me the card, and I had a few thousand left on it. I'd saved up a bunch, so I still have some money left over. I only stopped working there a couple months ago. And so I was playing NBA 2K20. Been playing that a lot recently, and I wanted to buy a little bit of VC, about $5-10, and I was like, okay, well, let's put in the card. Then my card got declined, and I was like, wait, what happened? And then I had to call them and go through this whole big thing. Apparently, they freaking suspended my card because I don't work at Walmart anymore. And so I had to fax them, and God help me finding a fax machine. I had no clue where to find one.
That sounds like such a nightmare.
Yeah, I had to fax them this paper saying, I don't know why I couldn't email it to them, saying I would like my Walmart money account disabled effective immediately. Please send a check to then my home address, which go to the first podcast if you want to know what that is.
Yeah, it's in there. You'll have to look for it real hard, but if you get a magnifying glass, I think you can see it.
My home address is in the first podcast. So I sent them a fax with that. I mean, I hope they got it. I mean, obviously I didn't get anything back. So I have a check in the mail, but right now I don't have any money. So I have to pass on Link's Awakening for at least the time being, because all of my money is suspended on a card in the mail somewhere, where finding its way to me.
Dude, that sucks so much. That would piss me off.
Oh yeah. And then I was just, you don't realize how much you rely on that card until you don't have it, and then everything just becomes so much more inconvenient. But you did get the game. You're having a good week.
I am. It's pretty good. It's all I've done most of the day.
Really? How far are you?
I'm on the second. I'm in the second dungeon right now. I'm pretty slow because I like to explore and stuff. I like looking at the art style because I love the art style.
Yeah. Have you played the original?
I played a little bit of it, not very much. I didn't like it.
Really?
On the Game Boy, but I like the way this one plays, and it's more fun. I've been really enjoying it.
Yeah, I love the original. I've played the original. It's one of the few I've played every Zelda game, but in terms of the 2D Zelda games, I normally don't complete them. I believe the only 2D Zeldas I've ever beaten are A Link to the Past, I've 100%ed that, A Link Between Worlds, I've 100%ed that, and Link's Awakening. It's because I love that game. It's just I think it's a lot of people say this. It's thematically the best Zelda. It was the kind of Zelda game that I think really deserved a remake, and this remake, and I do stand by my initial reaction in a way. I've kind of gotten over. I think the art style looks great now. It's not what I necessarily would have wanted from it, but for what they're going for, it looks great. And the thing about it is, it's kind of like it's just a straight up one-to-one recreation of Link's Awakening. It's not really expanding the experience in any way, which is kind of makes me a little iffy on the whole thing. And I do wish that they would have went like a step further. Like I would have loved like the world of Link's Awakening kind of reimagined into a 3D Zelda. That would be incredible. Ooh. But this is
like Breath of the Wild, like
exactly.
level exploration. That'd be awesome.
Exactly, and that world would be so perfect for it. But
now you've ruined the game for me because now I have dreams of what it could have been.
Oh yeah, and the thing about it is also where it's a 1-to-1 remake, and yeah, the art style is good, but I don't think it's a $60 game. I think $60 is a bit pricey for this. I don't know if you agree with me or not on that.
I only paid $50.
Oh, you paid $50 at Walmart, yeah. But think about.
I'm thinking like $35 maybe would have been like a decent price.
I'd even say $40. 40 would be a good sweet spot, I think, for me. Spyro the Reignited Trilogy, which is 3 Spyro games. Recreated, much more effort than Link's Awakening being a 1-to-1 remake of a 2D game. This is of a 3D game, and it's $40. It's 3 games, and your one Link's Awakening 10-hour at most adventure with this, toy art style is gonna be $60. That's kind of insane to me, and that's one of the things I don't really like about Nintendo is the fact that they're not willing to budge at all on their first party games. If it's on the Switch, it's $60. I don't care what you're getting in this package. It's the same price as the 100-hour adventure of Breath of the Wild, this 10-hour 2D adventure that is the same as it was on the Game Boy with some slight quality of life upgrades.
They never, they don't ever go on sale either, hardly.
No, never. And it's crazy to me that they never have. I have always said, and okay, so the Nintendo games, they do go on sale, but they'll go on sale from like $60 to, on the best of days, $45. They won't go on sale that at all. And I've always said I'll get Mario Rabbids Kingdom Battle when it goes on sale, but it's never went on sale below like $30, $40. I'm thinking.
Oh, I've seen it at GameStop. I think it's $20 at GameStop right now at mine.
Dang. That is a heck of a deal. I would get that game if I ever saw that game at $10 or below, which they would never do. But I would get it. I would buy it for $10 or below. And that's what I love about the PS4, and especially if you have PS Plus. The deals are phenomenal. You get these great games for nothing, and even PC. On the Steam Summer Sale, I went in.
Oh yeah.
I got both Portal games for like 60 cents on the Steam Summer Sale.
Still hasn't played them yet.
Still haven't played them. I'm
gonna ride you until you get on it.
There's too many games to play. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention I downloaded the Daemon X Machina demo.
Did you play it?
No.
No, he just downloaded it.
And here's the thing. I've been thinking about it all week. I downloaded it after the last podcast, actually. I was like, you know what? I'm going to open the next podcast and say, I did it. I played Daemon X Machina, and I've intended on it all week. And I've thought, it's not that I haven't thought about it. I've genuinely just been like, all right, well, maybe I should play some Daemon X Machina right now. But then I'm like, God, but I could play some like 2K20 or some Smash or some Rocket League.
Or an actually good game.
Yeah, it's like that sounds like a 100 times better time. And so I always am just like, I'll play some 2K20. I'll do it on Friday. But then like it just never happened. I'll play it eventually. I'll make a point of it. It's downloaded. It is on this Switch. I could open it up right now in this podcast, but I'm not going to.
I knew he was going to say that.
I mean, whatever with Damon Ex Machina. It doesn't look that great to me. But I I guess I'll just go ahead and say it. I got lost in the woods yesterday. It was pretty insane. At night, I'll say.
Oh, I was like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, oh, like for real?
For real? No, yeah, for real. Like that is not an expression. I literally got lost on a mountain in the woods in the pitch black at night. It was absolutely insane. So let me set up this story for you. By the way, this is gonna be the most Kentucky story you've ever heard. So buckle in. So we have this hill behind our house, and it's a very, very steep and massive hill. It goes miles up, and it's grown up pretty big though. There's a lot of weeds, a lot of briars, a lot of just stuff in the way right now, to the point where you can't really get your four-wheeler up it. So yesterday, me and my brother decided that we were going to clear out this path. We're going to climb this mountain, and we're going to, I had like a machete. He had like a pair of like giant pliers, and we were just going down and just cutting this crap down, clearing a path. And so we did it. It was extremely exhausting, and we didn't bring water for some reason. I don't know what we were thinking, not bringing water. But we were, and I'll give you this hill is probably a good 1.2 miles up to the top. It's about a little over a mile to get to the top of this hill, and it's an extremely steep hill. Keep in mind. And so we were just going about a fourth of the way up there. I was like, God, I could use the water. And I was just exhausted because it was so hot. And we got about halfway. We got about half of the path cleared. And we were just like, okay, we're exhausted. And the sun was going down. And we're like, well, we're going to have to wait till tomorrow to do this, because we're not going to, especially with no water, we're about to freaking pass out. Let's just go on back down. But then my brother was like, well, because we've not climbed this hill in a few years, we've just been busy. It's not like when we were kids, when we could just every day be in the woods. But he said, well, let's go to the top, because the top of this hill is beautiful. There's a phenomenal breeze that hits you when you get up there, and it's just a nice big plateau, just flat land. You can see so far. And so he was like, well, we won't clear anything. We'll just climb to the top of the hill. And the sun was kind of going down, but in our head we were like, okay, it's like a 15-minute walk from here, from what we remembered from a few years ago. And so we're like, yeah, we'll walk to the top. We'll just take a look at it, see what we got in front of us. And so we climb to the top. We get like, I'd say 25 minutes down the path, and we're like, God, like, I remember this being a lot shorter. And we were like, okay, well, I mean, it's got to be right up here. And I mean, I could have sworn that it was like only a mile, but clearly it's a little more. Maybe just our young legs were more fit for this expedition. And so we kept going, went for another 10 minutes, and then finally we could see the top, and we were like, okay, there's the top. And at this point the sun is really going down. It's not quite pitch black yet, but we cannot find the path to the top of the hill. We don't know where it is, and it's really confusing because we can very vividly remember this path. And and so we're like, this is really weird. We're like, where's the path? But then we're like, okay, well, this is a pretty steep hill, but if we hold on to the trees and we get down on all fours, we can climb up this part that's not part of the path, and we can just get to the top here.
This sounds like the beginning of a horror film.
Dude, we said that. I mean, when it gets really intense, we were like, this is literally a horror movie right now. We're lost in the woods in the pitch black. We did bring flashlights, though, because we had accounted for, well, maybe the sun will go down. So we should just bring some flashlights just in case. And when we needed them. And so we climbed to the top of this thing. It took us a while because it was so steep. And, I mean, it took everything in us. And then we get to the top. But instead of this giant, beautiful plateau, it's just this little tiny platform that we can stand on. But we still get the beautiful view, and we still get the breeze, which we needed because we were dying without water. It was so hot. We were sweating. And, like, we just sat down on the top, and that breeze was so phenomenal. And we sat up there for about 10 minutes. At this point, the sun has fully gone down. And we were like, okay, we got to head back. At this point, it's about 1.5 miles down this hill. And so we're like, all right, let's go back. The sun is down at this point. It is dark. The flashlights are out. I actually have a video of it here. I might try to send this video to Noah, maybe for the video. I don't know if we should do this, just to kind of give you a visual for just how exactly screwed we were and how exactly dark that it was. But I mean, it couldn't have been darker. And so we slide down this, like I said, we went off the path to this very steep portion of the hill, and we slide down, and then we see the path again, and we say, okay, well, there's the path. We'll just walk back the way we came. And so we walk about, I'd say, we walk 5 minutes up it. It's pitch black at this point, and my brother goes, does any of this look familiar? And I was like,
No.
I was like, no. And I'm like, it's dark now. We were seeing it when the sun was up. It just looks different because it's dark. I was like,
oh, no.
We're seeing it through a different lens. I'm like, this is the path, 100%. Because in my head, there is no other path. How could we have gotten on a different path? There was no other path. We came on the one path. We're now back on this path. I mean, what are we going to do? And so we get about 5 more minutes up. At this point, we're very concerned because we're too deep in this mountain for it to be pitch black. And so we could get ate by a freaking coyote or a bear or just something crazy. And so I was very concerned personally. And then we get about 5 more minutes up, and we see this really weirdly shaped tree right in the middle of the path. And he goes, we would remember this. He's like, we did not pass this. And I was like, how though? How are we on the wrong path? Where did we go wrong? And he was
Dude, that tree's going to come to life and kill you guys.
Oh yeah.
I'm calling it. You're dead right now. You're a ghost. Woo.
Yeah. I thought I was going to die. I legit was like putting the percentages in my head, and I was like, there's probably, on an average day, I'd say there's like a 0.001 chance that you're going to die. 0.01. Probably not that great a chance that you're going to die. But I put myself, I was like, there's probably a solid 5 to 10% chance that we're going to die before we get home right now. I was
going to say 15.
I was pretty scared. We were pretty armed. I'll say that. We had like some machetes. We had means of defending ourselves if we were attacked, but hopefully, obviously, depending on what attacked us, we couldn't have defended ourselves even if we wanted
if a
to.
tree attacks you, you guys are
yeah,
screwed.
if the tree wakes up. And so even after the tree, he was like, man, I think we should turn around. I go, no. It's dark. It wasn't dark when we came past. We just didn't notice the tree. We weren't looking for it. I was like, let's keep going. And then we go about 5 more minutes up the road, up the trail, and we see another just crazy landmark that we would have noticed. And he goes, okay. He goes, we are on the wrong path. And I was like, how? He's like, I don't know how. He goes, but we have to go back. And so we turn around, and we are 15 minutes up this trail at this point. So that means we have to walk 15 minutes back to where we were on the trail. And then we finally found our way back to the mountain that we slid down. And then we were like, there's only one path. But then we saw, because we went off the trail, we saw there was a little place to slide down a little further. And we slid down a little further, and then we find another path. And then we're like, okay, so this has to be the path. And so Noah, when you get this video, I want to.
I can't wait to watch
Yeah,
this.
I want. It's only like a 14-second video. It's not a very long video. But at about this point, when we're on this path, because we're starting to become a little bit confident that we found the right trail. This is when I recorded the video. At this point in the story, so you can go ahead and put that in. We've been lost for a good freaking hour, out in the woods, and we think we have found a path back, but I'm not sure. So here's hoping we don't die. Now we're walking down the path. We keep seeing some stuff. We're very concerned at this point. If this isn't it, we're in trouble. And then eventually we come across a tree that we remember, and we're like, oh, this is it. This is the trail. And then we keep going, and we're like, yes. And then we keep going, but obviously the more we go, we're like, wait, I don't remember this. And it's so dark, as you guys just saw from the video. Could not have been darker. And then we start wavering, like, are we on the wrong trail? Should we turn back? But then eventually we start seeing, after we walked 30 minutes at this point, if this is the wrong trail, we are in trouble. And then we start seeing the clippings from where we've cut down the path before where we started to go up. And we were like, we're on the right trail. And then we're 30 minutes away. We're like, heck freaking yeah. And we got back, and I mean, we were messed up. We had freaking dirt all over us. My arms were all cut up. I mean, I was scared to death, but I mean, it was an insane situation. I'm glad we got out of it though.
And then you guys get back to the house, and you're like, wait, is this the right house?
It's this somebody else's house.
No, you just stumble into a parallel universe.
Legit, we were walking through the woods, and I said, this is a horror movie. I went, this is a nightmare. I went, this is how every horror movie starts. I went, every horror movie begins where two freaking guys lost in the woods at night. Some creature's about to come and murder us. And, I mean, of course it is. We're lost in the woods. We don't know where we're going. We're going to wander into some witch's house and get possessed by it. I mean, at the point in which we turned around when we were on that wrong trail, when we were about 15 minutes up, because it was a hard decision to make, because that means not only has all of our progress back been for nothing. We're exhausted. We've been up in this mountain about 2.5 hours with not a drink of water.
Oh my God.
And so that not only is all of our progress for nothing, we're now going to have to walk back 15 minutes to get back to where we were. And what if this is the right trail? But we just had to take it, and I'm glad we found our way home. I was getting concerned, and I thought that was a fun story to tell for the podcast.
Okay, what horror creature would be chasing you in this scenario?
I just
what movie monster would you imagine chasing you in this scenario?
I just imagine some old woman, right, walks out.
Oh no, that's scary.
Out of the woods, and she's like, "Hello, little boys, are you lost?" And we're like, "Yeah, I think we got on the wrong trail, miss." "Oh, well, I can show you back the way. Follow me." And then we
never follow her.
And then we're like, oh, okay. I mean, we're desperate at this point. We've been out here for a few hours, and we've gotten so lost that, I mean, if we can get back to civilization, we can call someone to come pick us up. So she knows how to get back to town. And so we walk, and then she's like, have some porridge. Then we eat the porridge.
No, don't eat the porridge, Austin. Don't do it.
And then she eats us. And that's how we die.
And they all lived happily ever after.
Yay.
Except for the two boys that got eaten, but fuck them.
Freaking, but yeah, that's my Lost in the Woods story. I think the most intense experience I've had in 2019, for sure. It was insane. I mean, but we got out of it, and I'm happy.
Dude, that is great, because then I'd have to find a new podcast host. I don't really feel like doing that.
And the entire time that we were lost, all I was thinking was, I got to give my top 5 TV shows on the next podcast of the CrossTalk podcast. So I can't.
So you got to make it through it.
So now I'm here, and we're able to give our top 5 TV shows as we promised in the last episode. And me and Noah have determined our 5 favorite TV shows, along with 2 honorable mentions. And so
Gotta say, that was an excellent segue. I'm very proud.
I've gotten good at that over the years. I at least know how to transition between topics. So I guess let's just go ahead and get into it. We're 25 minutes in, should be plenty of time. Let's go ahead and start with your honorable mentions.
All right. My first honorable mention I got is Ash versus the Evil Dead. I actually talked about this on the last episode. Yeah. So I don't really think that one needs an explanation. Oh, because you got to go back and listen to the last episode if you want to know what it's about.
Ooh, sorry. But
all right. And you want me to go with my other one, or you want to do yours?
Go ahead. Yeah. Let's hear your other one.
My other one. This is gonna trigger Gabe. Gravity Falls.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Because I didn't watch it. I didn't finish it with him, and he's still mad at me.
Yeah. Do you want to tell that story? I think that's a good story as to what happened there.
So, I don't remember exactly. I was talking about liking Gravity Falls, and I watched a few episodes with Gabe because he liked it too. And then I just ended up finishing the series without him. He just got really mad at me. He's like, dude, what the hell? I thought we were going to watch it. I'm like, I couldn't wait. It's so good. I just kept watching.
Yeah, that's what Gabe was like. I was asking Noah, let's watch Gravity Falls every night, and he kept saying that, not that I can't, but then eventually one day Noah just gets in the call and says, "Yeah, watch the whole series." He's like, "What? I thought we were supposed to watch it together." So Noah really did Gabe dirty in that situation.
I screwed the pooch on that one, folks.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
But you know what?
Sorry, Gabe. Out in the comments section, I love you.
we can forgive you this time.
This time, I'm going to do it again. Let's be honest.
But anyway, I guess we can go ahead and get to my honorable mentions.
I'm curious.
They just so happen to both start with a D, which is not, I guess, a coincidence. I was about to say not.
Dunder Mifflin.
Yeah. Number, I know no particular order for the honorable mentions, but I'll go ahead and mention first Daredevil, Marvel's Daredevil on Netflix. It is.
Actually, I didn't see that one coming. I'm gonna be honest.
Are you familiar with Daredevil?
Oh yeah, I've seen it. I like it.
You've seen it. You've seen all 3 seasons.
I've seen the first 2. I haven't watched the third one yet.
You've not watched the best one. It is so good. Daredevil is the best superhero show that I've ever seen, bar none, and it's not even close. It made it to where I could no longer watch shows like The Flash and Arrow. It was.
It's because that's DC. Fuck off.
No, but you got to understand. I loved those shows. I love The Flash and Arrow, and I still like them. I think the first season of The Flash is still phenomenal, and the first couple seasons and season 5 of Arrow were phenomenal. But Daredevil was so beyond those shows that I can't watch them anymore. I try to watch them and I'm like, gosh, this is just so much filler. These characters have been stagnant since the first season. They don't change at all. There's no development. With Daredevil, it's just genius storytelling. It has the exact right pace of storytelling where everything feels earned. The characters are also good yet flawed. It is brilliant writing, and I think if you haven't seen Daredevil and you like superhero stuff, you should give it a shot.
I agree. It's pretty good. I don't know if I'd sell it as high as you do, but it's pretty good.
Oh yeah, okay. Well, that's fair. And for my other honorable mention, I am gonna go with Dexter.
Oh yeah.
Have you seen Dexter?
I've seen a couple seasons. I watched it with my roommate like freshman year. It was pretty good.
It is insane. It is about a serial killer who only kills other serial killers. It is it has a phenomenal start. I would say the first 4 seasons of Dexter are as good as any 4 seasons of any TV show that you're gonna see. It definitely has a pretty weak finish. I'll say that, and I think everyone can agree on that. Daredevil, I mean, no, not Daredevil. Daredevil has a phenomenally strong finish. Dexter, though, has a very weak finish, and that definitely takes a couple points away from the show. But overall, I loved it. I was invested the whole time. I thought season 7 was great, and I obviously think the first 4 seasons are great. And since it's an honorable mention, we won't go too much deeper than that. So I guess we can go ahead and get this thing started with your number 5.
All right. Number 5. My number 5 is Criminal Minds.
Dang, I know nothing about that show, so let me in.
It's about this team that works for the FBI. They're like a behavioral analysis unit, and they hunt down serial killers and profile them based on information they gather from the crime scenes and stuff. It's kind of like CSI but better.
Oh yeah.
All those shows but better. The first 10 seasons. After that, I haven't watched it. They got rid of the original characters, and I don't care anymore. But the first
you got
10
seasons out of it.
I mean, that's pretty good.
Yeah, that's better than a lot of shows. A lot of shows overstay their welcome, and Dexter was one of them for sure. And it sounds like this was one of them, in a sense.
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, is that all you got to say about it?
Yep, I think so. I'm pretty short and sweet with mine. I'll tell you why I like it, but that's it.
Yeah. All right. I guess I'll go on to my number 5, and my number 5 is an anime.
We got a weeb in the podcast. No,
well, I think if you judge my top 5 favorite games, you'll notice a lot of JRPGs. So I'd say if anyone is using common sense, they will have been able to put 2 and 2 together. That there would be at least one anime on this list, and I'm actually not as into anime as you might think that I am. I'm definitely more into JRPGs than I am to anime. I think I've watched about 5 anime total in my life, but the one that stands out as the best, and one of the best shows that I've ever seen, is Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood.
Yeah.
Have you seen it? You seem a little down on it from that reaction.
No, not down. I just knew that was going to be on there because you talked about it last podcast. I've never seen it. You were telling me about it, and it sounds interesting. I'll probably add it to my list of anime to watch. Brotherhood, not the original.
The original. I did get into this last podcast.
Yeah, I remember.
We were talking about comparisons between the ending of Game of Thrones and the ending of Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood.
Yeah, that's what brought us on that.
With shows not finishing very strongly, and that is a theme with basically every show. My number 1 is the only show that I have ever seen that absolutely nails the ending. Couldn't have gotten it better. The other shows, I don't think any of them finished that great. I think that's kind of the flaw with all of these shows. Most shows either don't know when to end or don't know how to end. Like The Walking Dead is a great example. It was such a beloved show for those first 3 or 4 seasons. I'm sure you've seen the first few seasons of The Walking Dead.
I've actually never watched that.
Really?
Show.
So you were just out of it for a few years when that was the big thing, I guess.
I remember people talking about it. Just I'm not super into zombie stuff.
Yeah. I mean, it was like culture freaking back. When it was season 1, 2, 3, part of 4. But I mean,
when did it even come out?
Let's see. They're on season 9 now, so I'd say 9 years ago. I think so, about 2010. So I mean, that's pretty crazy. I'll tell you, The Walking Dead was definitely my introduction to more adult TV shows, I guess I'll say. Not watching iCarly, Zack and Cody, but it was my first real TV show. And I always thank it for that, but the show is a joke now. I mean, it's an absolute joke. and but it overstayed its welcome.
Yeah, there's a spin-off series too.
Yeah, I watched the first season of that. I mean, I didn't like that from the beginning.
Everybody said it was pretty bad.
AMC is just milking it for everything, which is really stupid.
Yeah,
But
kind of like Disney with their stuff. You know?
yeah, but Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, Full Metal Alchemist the original had a pretty terrible ending, but the writers were smart and decided, well, let's go back and remake it with the good ending from the manga, and they did that, and it's the best anime I have personally ever seen. I love it.
All right.
And I guess go ahead with your number 4, because that's all I've got to say.
All right. This one's a comedy. I'm sure everybody knows it. It's pretty popular. The Office.
Ooh.
Come on. You know that's got to be on the list.
Oh, yeah. And I'll go ahead, like last time, we'll say The Office is also on my list.
You're number 3.
My number 3. Yes.
Oh,
you called it.
yeah.
I just like last time when we had the same, when Thousand Year Door, I'm 1 degree higher on it than you. But since this is yours, go ahead. You talk about The Office, and then I'll follow up.
It's got my favorite kind of humor, that like cringe humor.
Oh, yeah.
And I think the fact that it's a mockumentary is like kind of like the first of its genre to do a television show like that. So it really stands out, and it's kind of its own thing. There's nothing else quite like it. I mean, there's other shows that are similar, obviously, because it's made by the same people, like Parks and Rec and Superstore and that kind of stuff. But The Office is the original.
Yeah. And Parks and Rec, I about put that as a honorable mention. If I had to put 3 honorable mentions, Parks and Rec would have been the next one. That's also a phenomenal show.
Oh, it's not even on your top. Wow, I thought you liked Parks and Rec more than The Office.
No. I never said that.
No?
The Office is my baby. The Office is my favorite comedy of all time. It could be my favorite show of all time. If you catch me on the right day, I'll say The Office is my favorite show of all time. Like it just really depends on the day. But I think The Office is so good because the characters are all so good. You, at some point in the series, get to know each and every one.
Every character.
Of these
yeah, they have their own like
characters.
mini arcs within the season. Yeah.
And you would think like, oh, that's too many characters, but like you become like, it's like your family almost at a certain point. And
that reunion finale always hits me in the feels pretty hard, no matter how many times I watch it.
And yeah, and also that also brings up a good point as to The Office. It can make you laugh, but what sets it apart from like a show like Parks and Rec, which I think is just as funny, I think The Office thrives in the fact that it can also make you cry. It makes you laugh. It makes you cry. I remember when my mom was watching The Office, she cried, I think, at 3 different points throughout the series, and I thought that it was very fun to, it's good to show someone a show that you love, like The Office, because then you can relive it vicariously through them. Yeah. So it was very fun for me to re-experience these emotions, but she cried when, spoilers for The Office if you are uncultured.
Oh man, it's been too late. Fuck 'em.
Yeah, but she cried when Jim confessed to Pam and then she rejected him. She cried when Michael left in season 7, and she cried at the reunion like everyone else did. So it is it is one of those shows, and again, following this trend though, doesn't have the strongest ending.
Yeah.
Steve Carell leaves in season 7, and Steve Carell, who plays Michael Scott, obviously he is the heart of that show.
Yeah, so as soon as he left, it was kind of like,
But here's the thing, though. I genuinely do believe that it is still a very good show, even without Carell. A lot of people say, like, oh, it's trash without Carell. It's so bad. But I don't think that. I think it was actually a pretty good opportunity to flesh out some of the characters that hadn't really been explored, like Angela and Oscar and Meredith and, all of the others.
Yeah.
And so I appreciate those seasons in that aspect, but it is hard to deny that the show was much better with Carell. So I think this show also, kind of flubs up the ending, which definitely puts it down a little bit to me. But The Office will always hold such a special place in my heart. It is a show that I genuinely hope that whenever I find someone, like whenever I get married, that they haven't seen The Office, so then I can relive it once again vicariously through them, because it's so fun to watch the first time, the second time, the third time. It's just as equally fun to watch every single time.
And I think that's
amazing.
another thing that's really good about the show is it has an insane amount of rewatchability compared to other TV shows.
Oh yeah, 100%. I actually had you muted there for a second. I was like, man, what happened? But then I realized I accidentally muted my computer. So yeah, if
Nice.
I like talked over you or something there, I couldn't hear you. But is that all you got
that's
to
good.
say about the Office?
I think I'm good. I think I'm ready for your number 4.
All right, my number 4 is, let me pull up my list just to be sure. Prison Break.
Huh.
Have you
I
seen?
don't know if I've ever seen that.
Have you ever heard of it?
I don't even know if I've ever heard of it. No. Doesn't sound
Dang.
familiar to me.
Prison Break was so massive at my school. So you know Captain Cold and Heatwave from The Flash, right?
I've
You've
never
seen
watched The Flash.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
Wentworth Miller, who phenomenal actor, was Captain Cold in The Flash, and I loved Captain Cold in The Flash. I thought he was the coolest guy ever. And someone told me, Wentworth Miller, the guy who plays Captain Cold, has his own show, and it's apparently phenomenal. And it is called Prison Break. It is about a man named Michael Schofield who intentionally gets himself put into a maximum security prison with his brother Lincoln Burrows, who was falsely accused of murdering the president's brother, and he is being sentenced to death, being put in the electric chair in merely 2 weeks.
Yikes.
And so in that 2 weeks, Michael Schofield robs a bank, and he's a super successful guy. He's an engineer. He doesn't want for money at any point in in his life, and so people are shocked when he makes this decision to rob this bank, and people are like, why would you do this? You don't need the money. But obviously he wants to get in the prison so he can break his brother out. But it's a little easier said than done, considering that it's a maximum security prison.
Yeah.
However, because Michael Schofield is an engineer, his company actually helped build the prison. And so he gets the blueprint of the prison tattooed on his body in a way that you can't tell that it's a blueprint. It kind of looks like, like a Pegasus or something. But actually, if you look a little closer, it's the blueprint of the prison. And so they go through all of the trials to try and break this innocent man out of prison, and they have to, get involved with some pretty bad people. The characters are all phenomenal. Michael Schofield, Lincoln Burrows, Sucre, freaking Teabag, Mahone. I mean, they are all phenomenal. Yeah, Theodore Bagwell is that man's name. He is a heck of a villain.
How many seasons are there of this?
There are now 5 seasons, which is very
5
interesting.
seasons.
Also, let me say this: 5 seasons is a sweet spot. If you go more than 5 seasons, you've overstayed your welcome. With a couple exceptions.
Well, maybe.
A couple exceptions.
Maybe. I was going to say, yeah.
But Prison Break actually ended at 4 seasons, and it kind of had a pretty crappy ending. But about 2 years ago, they announced they're bringing Prison Break back for a season for about a 7 or 8 episode stretch, and they're doing one more season. And it was such a good season, and they completely fixed the ending. It was amazing. I mean, it was awesome. I was so happy with it. And season 5 of Prison Break redeemed the bad ending. Yet another show that redeemed its bad ending. My number 4 and 5 were both shows that originally ended bad, but then redeemed it. And I'll always love Wentworth Miller. I love listening to what he says and just his interviews. I love his acting, and I love Prison Break. It's an awesome show.
I'll have to give that a try because that sounds interesting.
Oh, dude, watch the first episode. Here's what I always say about my favorite TV shows. For most of them, you watch the first episode of The Office. Most people don't like it. I think the first season of The Office is awful. I always stand by that. You got to say no. You got to watch. You got to watch the whole season. You got to watch till the end of season 2. It gets better. Same thing with Full Metal Alchemist. You got to be no. The first episode isn't for new viewers. It's for people who watch the original. We'll just watch a couple more episodes. But with Prison Break, you watch the first episode, you're hooked. It's a phenomenal first episode. You'll want to watch the whole thing. It's on Netflix, I think. No, it's not on Netflix anymore. They took it off because Netflix is stupid. But it's on Hulu. It's on Hulu.
Oh,
so,
well, I got Hulu, so we're good.
It's phenomenal. I would highly recommend it. One of the best shows I've ever seen.
All right, I'm looking for it right now. Actually, I'm going to add it to my to my stuff.
Dude, watch that first episode, and if you're not hooked to the end of the first episode, you're not going to get hooked. But I mean,
you owe me $5.
I can guarantee you that you're going to get hooked. I've never met someone. There was a point in my high school where literally every member of the high school was watching Prison Break at once, and it was so crazy and it was so fun just to see how everyone reacted. And it was about a year after we all finished it that they announced it was coming back for season 5. And I remember that day, everyone was like, Prison Break's coming back. And I was like, what? And we all watched the trailer, and the trailer was so good, and it like raised so many questions. And it was so fun to come to school every week after Prison Break came on, and just because everyone watched it. The nerds watched it, the jocks watched it, and everyone in between. And just to talk about it and to see how everyone reacted. And with all these cliffhangers, it was so fun. But I think that's really all I got to say about Prison Break.
All right.
So you can go ahead and move on to your number. I believe it would be
number 3.
Yeah.
All right. And my number 3 is Breaking Bad.
Oh, snizzity snap. Breaking Bad. And we'll go ahead and say this. Breaking Bad is also on my list. And Breaking
is it number 1?
Is number 1.
Oh, dude, I'm so good at this.
Oh, yeah. So you can go ahead and talk about Breaking Bad, which is the best show.
I don't know what's to be said that hasn't been said about it already. It's got the perfect pilot, like you said, with like episode 1 of Prison Break. Once you watch it, you're hooked. The same thing with Breaking Bad. It's so compelling.
Yeah, I would slightly disagree with that, but I mean, I've known many people who have started Breaking Bad and said I couldn't get into it. And I'm like, well, you're an idiot. You should have watched further because you watched, because it starts Walter White out. It's the quote that Vince Gilligan says every 5 seconds. I wanted to turn Mr. Rogers into Scarface. But, you start, I mean, it's true. You start in that season 1, you're watching Mr. Rogers. But Breaking Bad has genius writing. And so it makes his growth and his change in character feel earned and feel like it matters. So it's going to start out slow because this guy's a extremely boring guy when this show starts out.
Oh, yeah. The other thing I really, really, really love about the show is the cinematography.
Oh, God.
I mean, because that's the thing. That's what I'm going into, so that's what I noticed. But, like, all the intense shots they have whenever the shit's getting intense and
I think
close-up on his face, it's,
I think specifically
beautiful.
To the crawl space scene. And one of the best scenes ever in a TV show. Bryan Cranston absolutely nailed. He deserves all the awards that he got. And I was seeing
phenomenal actor.
Vince Gilligan. When Vince Gilligan described that last shot in the crawl space episode, it was the camera pans out from Walt as he laughs hysterically. It keeps going further and further up, showing this hole becoming smaller and smaller against Walt. And it's like showing the hole, how deep of a hole he has found himself in. And and just the way that he describes that shot and the intensity of the heartbeat and the phone ringing in the background and Marie freaking out that there are people coming to kill Hank and just everything about it, and Skylar just effing up, and just Walt just finally after so long snapping on her made me so happy. And there's a lot of controversy about is the Skylar's character warrant the hate that she gets. But we're rooting for the protagonist, and she is a very big hurdle for said protagonist. So
Yeah.
we are meant to root against her, I believe. But
So who's your favorite character in the show? Because there's so many interesting characters to choose from.
yeah, I mean, obviously the show is nothing without Walter White. I mean, Bryan Cranston's portrayal of that character, especially coming from a comedy background, was unbelievable.
Yeah, that's pretty insane. Yeah.
One of the greatest performances that we've ever seen, and I truly believe it's the best show. Not only due to phenomenal acting, Aaron Paul as Jesse. I mean, Jesus.
Oh, we're getting a new movie about him, man.
And I have some opinions on that, which I'm not necessarily that excited by that movie. I'm very scared about that movie, but
That's true. They could really fuck it up.
because, as I said before, there's one show that I've ever seen that absolutely nailed the ending, and that show is Breaking Bad. Nailed it. Couldn't have been better. There were extreme consequences to Walt's actions, and that's the thing about good writing. Characters' actions must have consequences, and his family betrays him. He loses Hank. Spoilers for Breaking Bad, I guess. But if again,
it's been
if
too
you're
long.
uncultured,
Don't get butthurt.
sorry. And if you didn't stop listening to this when we started talking about Breaking Bad and you're currently watching it, I don't know what's wrong with you. But I mean, the consequences and the way that he goes out. Walter White had to be punished in some way. He had to die because he deserved to die. He's one of the greatest villains ever. And just the way he goes out in the blaze of glory, saving Jesse, letting him go free. Best ending to a TV show I've ever seen. It is.
I've been wanting to watch it again.
Oh yeah,
I've been. It's been a year since I finished it. So I want to watch it again.
It shocks me that it's your number 3. I could not be more curious as to what your number 2 and 1 is. 2 shows in this
I feel like you're gonna get let down
that
now.
you think are better than Breaking Bad. I mean, I can't wait to hear.
Now, I don't know if they're better, but they're my favorites.
Okay. That definitely makes sense. I mean, you're thinking best show ever. You got to say Breaking Bad, but favorite show ever could be different. These are my favorite shows ever, but it just so happens that the best show ever is also my favorite show ever because it's the one show that you think about all of these shows. You're like The Office. Oh man, Steve Carell should have stayed. Prison Break. Well, they effed up that ending, and the 3rd season was a little slow. Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood starts off a little slow, and the original was pretty bad. Breaking Bad, phenomenal in every single way. I mean, it was amazing, and that's really all. That's all I have to say about it. You have anything else to say? Who was your favorite character?
My favorite. So if I had a third honorable mention, it would have to be Better Call Saul because Saul Goodman is one of my favorite characters in the show.
Oh yeah, love Saul Goodman.
Oh yeah. How do you feel about Better Call Saul?
You get ready to execute me. I've never seen it.
Oh, okay, that's fair. I'm not gonna execute you.
I've yet to see it. I definitely plan on seeing it. I mean,
it's almost as good as Breaking Bad.
I've heard a lot of people say that, and
so you should definitely give it a go. Yeah, it's not like one of those where they do a spinoff.
Yeah,
and it goes downhill. It's at the same level of quality, I'd say.
And I love that it's a prequel and not a sequel. It doesn't F with the original story like this new movie's gonna do. Because the ending was so perfect, you don't want to answer any of those questions.
Yeah.
Because the questions left unanswered are why the ending is so good.
It's so good.
We don't need answers. Is Walt alive? Is Walt dead? We don't need that answered. It can be whatever you want it to be. Where does Jesse go? Does he live happily ever after? Does he get arrested immediately? I mean, it doesn't matter. You can think whatever you want to think. It leaves it open-ended. And the fact that this new movie is going to answer those questions really makes me upset, and I wish they wouldn't mess with the ending. I would so much prefer that they'd not make this movie. I don't want to know what happens to Jesse, and whatever it is.
We'll just pretend it's not canon.
Oh yeah, it's already not canon. I don't care what happens. and we're gonna know the fate of Walter White in this movie. We don't want to know the fate of Walter White. I don't want to know the fate of Walter White. I'm sure he's dead, but I don't want to know that.
Well, I have a feeling that because they said that, he's probably not dead.
That would be horrible. Oh my God, please tell me he's dead. Because some people think, there's a lot of people who hate Walter White, and they think that he should be tried, put on the electric chair, and murdered. And for those people, they can have that ending in their head if he didn't die. But for me, who likes Walter White, I can believe that he's dead and went out in a blaze of glory. But it works for everybody. And the fact that they're going to answer these questions ruins their ending. I hate it. I don't want this movie. I don't want it. You can keep it. So
what was it called again? El Camino?
Yeah, El
right?
Camino, yeah.
Okay.
It's about what happens to Jesse after Breaking Bad. I mean, okay. Like, what does Jesse do? I mean, what are you going to do? Make him cook meth again? That's going to ruin your ending. I mean, what's this going to... I mean, what else was it going to be? Jesse just chills for 2 hours? Like, no. And, like, I hate the fact that this movie is happening. It's ruining...
That's what they should call the movie. Jesse just chills for 2 hours.
Apparently, Aaron Paul needed some extra money, so they were like, "Yeah, we'll make a Breaking Bad movie." No, I love it,
dude.
not to take a shot at Aaron Paul. He's a phenomenal actor, and he's been doing well for himself. He had a Amazon Prime original series called The Path. I didn't see it, but it looked pretty good. I love Aaron Paul. Killed it as Jesse Pinkman.
Oh yeah.
But
I've only seen him in like one other thing.
Yeah.
He was a bad guy in the Central Intelligence movie with Dwayne The Rock Johnson and Kevin Hart.
Dang, good for Aaron Paul. I'm glad to see him doing well. But that's really, I mean, we could do a whole podcast about why Breaking Bad's so great. Go through each season. That'll be a future podcast. We'll go through each season.
We'll just make a new podcast.
The Breaking Bad cast.
Yeah. We'll just talk about each episode in depth.
If you want to come back to an intense podcast, come back to this podcast the week after Breaking Bad El Camino comes out, because it will be a very strongly worded message to Vince Gilligan and the writers.
I guess we'll both have to watch it.
It's gonna suck, dude. I mean, I'm just gonna say it. All of these answers are not gonna be the answers that we want, and it's gonna ruin the open-ended nature of the perfect ending. But go ahead and give me your number 3. Is it 3 or 2? 2.
I just did my number 3. So.
Well, I only have one left, so we'll go ahead and let you do your number 2. So we can.
All right, my number 2 is an animated cartoon.
An anime? Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Nope.
No, I wanted to try it. You got a couple.
Rick and Morty.
Oh, dude, I love that show. It's so good. Rick and Morty, better than Breaking Bad.
I told you were gonna get let down.
So yeah, that's the thing. Rick and Morty is my favorite Adult Swim cartoon. Oh, this is yours. Talk about it.
It's my favorite cartoon of all time. It's hilarious, and it's got everything. And plus, it's based off my favorite movie, Back to the Future. Yeah. So I mean, each episode's funny, and it's got a lot of deep layers to it too that make it funnier.
Yeah. And it's not only funny, it is very creatively funny. And the sci-fi nature of the show and the ideas that they use are so phenomenal. And
that's the kind of shit that I love. Like, they go to a parallel universe and bury themselves.
I mean, that's the thing. It's like The Office. A good comedy can make you laugh, but it can also make you cry. And I think that's a good nature, like when they bury themselves in the freaking the Unity episode when Rick tries to kill himself, or at the end of season 2 when Rick gets him put in prison. It is just so intense and so funny.
We're getting close to season 4, aren't we?
Yeah, it comes out in November. I'm extremely excited about it.
Me too. I just got re-excited. I forgot when it was coming out, but now that it's that close.
It's been 2 years. My friend Drake actually watched it for the first time like a month ago, and I got to live it vicariously through him again. It was really fun hearing him react to the episodes. Rick and Morty, I'll give it. It's the best Adult Swim cartoon of all time, no question, not even close. Where I wouldn't put a show like that in my top 10 favorite shows or my top 5, because when I'm kind of ranking it, and it's very fair to put it in, and I should have at least honorable mentioned it thinking about it, but just the episodic nature of it doesn't feel like a flowing story that continues over time. But Rick and Morty definitely has this as better compared to other Adult Swim cartoons. But I am as high as one could be on Rick and Morty. 10 out of 10 show, 100%. Just the nature of what the show is why it's not on my list.
That's fair.
But is that all you got to say about Rick and Morty?
That's all I got to say about Rick and Morty.
All right.
Short and sweet, man.
Yeah, watch it.
That's how I
Best
am.
show ever. And number 2, we might also get to go short and sweet with this one because we've talked about it at length, is Game of Thrones.
Oh, yeah.
Woo! Phenomenal. First 4 seasons of Game of Thrones are the best 4 seasons of TV you will ever watch. No doubt about it. And hey, 5 and 6 aren't half bad either. They're better than most shows. And here's the thing, so we compare Breaking Bad to Game of Thrones, right? If we compare the first 4 seasons of Breaking Bad and Game of Thrones, Season 1 of Game of Thrones is better than Season 1 of Breaking Bad. Season 2 of Game of Thrones is better than Season 2 of Breaking Bad. Season 3 of Game of Thrones is better than Season 3 of Breaking Bad. Season 4 of Game of Thrones is better than Season 4 of Breaking Bad. Season 5 of Game of Thrones is worse than Season 5 of Breaking Bad. Breaking Bad Season 5 is phenomenal. Best season ever.
That's a hot take, I think.
I don't think it is. Watch Game of Thrones and tell me you disagree with me.
We'll see. I don't think I get into it,
Dude,
to be honest
I
with you.
said the same thing. I don't know how here's the thing, like when you try to get someone into Rick and Morty, they just think, oh, I've already seen Family Guy. Yeah, I've seen that kind of cartoon. You're like, no. It's not Family Guy. It is. I know it's an Adult Swim cartoon, but it's on another level. With Game of Thrones, why don't you think you can get into Game of Thrones? We'll start with that question.
Well, I'm not usually into the medieval stuff, first of all.
Me either. I'll say that. I have never, ever liked a medieval show. I've never seen Lord of the Rings. Never been able to get
Never
into
seen it either.
Because I don't like that stuff, right? I don't like medieval stuff. I'm exactly the same as you. But I hear all this praise about Game of Thrones, and I say, you know what? I'll give it a shot. I've heard all this praise, best show ever. And even with the praise, it blew away my expectations. It doesn't matter if you like medieval stuff. This is on another level. It will make you like medieval stuff. And I recommend it. I hate medieval stuff, yet Game of Thrones has found its place as my number 2 show of all time. That should say something. And it was the kind of show that after the first episode, I was like, I thought I was going to hate the first episode. I thought that I was going to watch it, and for the entire first season, I was going to be like, man, I'm not really feeling it. But I thought over time, I would slowly start to get it. But I watched the first episode, and I ended it, and I was like, and I went in with pretty low expectations because I didn't like that kind of stuff. I was just like you. And I ended the first episode, and I went, oh, dang, that was pretty good.
Oh, dang.
Yeah, I was like, well,
I like the way you said that.
I was like, well, let me watch the second episode. And I made a vow to myself, and I always do this whenever a show is really high praised, because a lot of shows don't start off the strongest. I said, well, let me give myself to the end of season 1. It's 10 episodes. It's a 10-episode season. Anyone can do 10 episodes. And I said, if I don't like it, I'll stop. And oh my God, the ending of season 1.
You got sucked in.
Insane. Then I could not watch the rest of it. I would hope. I do hope. And I hope you watch it one day. I really genuinely do.
I will give it a go just for you.
Yeah.
You know what? We'll watch it together, and then I'll finish it by myself.
Yeah. Oh, please, dude. Please. It is the show. Do I hate the ending? Yes. I'm like everybody else. It's not that I hate the ending, and I've already gone over this. I like the ending. I hate how they got there. It should have been,
Yeah.
and that's the one show you say a lot of shows 5 is the sweet spot. Game of Thrones 8 wasn't close to enough. It should have been 12 seasons, no doubt about it. It could have been the same story with 12 seasons, and it would have been way better because they could have fleshed it out. They rushed the ending so much, but that's the thing though. It's not a boring ending. You're not sitting there like, man, I am so bored right now. Nothing is happening. It is everything is happening. It's 2 seasons crammed into 6 episodes. It is like,
Are there lots
bananas.
of plot holes because they just tried to like railroad it?
There are like slight little plot holes and things that characters don't want to do, but it's honestly not that bad. There's nothing major. There's a couple things that you'll be a little annoyed with, like, wait, this character wouldn't do this. Because they didn't take enough time to establish that character. But it's so worth it. Season 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. phenomenal. 7, still good. 8, an absolute. I mean, the best word I can use to describe season 8 is bananas. I mean, it is insane. Like the whole time you're gonna think, what, huh, what, and then like you'll be like, oh my god, this series is gonna be over in 2 episodes. I feel like I should have 10 seasons ahead of me. And you're like, how do they end it in 2 episodes? And then it just crazy.
And then you're like, wow, there's a water bottle over there.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, look at that Starbucks cup.
Exactly. They really and that's why I think Breaking Bad is the best show ever. And now at the ending, Game of Thrones couldn't do that. But that's it for my number 2, and I think all of this left is your number 1.
Yeah, because I was like, his number 1's gone. So all the build up for me is it's over. It's kind of lame.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, my number 1. I don't know if you've seen this, so we'll see. My number 1 is Stranger Things.
Oh wow, yeah, I've seen Stranger Things. I love Stranger Things. Go ahead.
One of my favorite TV shows. As you can tell by my top 2, I'm a big sci-fi guy.
Yeah.
I love science fiction. Star Wars, that's a space opera, but it's still science fiction. Star Trek, I love Star Trek too. Oh, damn.
What?
Now I'm looking at my list. I was thinking about Star Trek.
Left it off.
It's fine. But yeah, Stranger Things, it's got everything I like. It's got the music, first of all. I love that 80s synth music.
Yeah.
It's got monsters and paranormal stuff. I'm super into that. Science fiction. It's got the teens. It's got everything, man. It's just great. One of my favorite shows of all time so far.
Your favorite show of all time. I love Stranger Things. Love it. I mean, I freaking cried. I got tears in my eyes at the end of season 3. I love it. And here's how I always describe Stranger Things, though. And here's where I guess, kind of disagree on it. And there's a reason that is. I'd give Stranger Things a 9 out of 10. I mean, I think it's so good. But the thing about Stranger Things, unlike some of these shows, is it's a phenomenal turn your mind off and watch show. You know, there's not really too many complexities to Stranger Things.
That's true. Yeah,
you know, you're not really having to dig deep to find out what is this character's thinking. What is his motivation? The cinematography. It's just like this show is fun. It is a fun show. It's very funny. The kids are so fun. Finn Wolfhard, Millie Bobby Brown. I mean, they're phenomenal. And Steve. I mean, everyone loves Steve.
Steve Harrington.
Yeah, Steve Harrington. Steve the Hair Harrington, the man. I love that guy. I want better for him though. I wish Steve could find love. That always disappoints me. But yeah, it's such a good, fun, turn your mind off and watch it show. You don't have to watch it. You know, when you're watching Breaking Bad, you have to watch it because you might miss something. You don't want to miss something. You know, you might, like a subtle wink from Walter White might be all that you need to know. Oh, Walt's thinking this. His motivation isn't that. Stranger Things, it's not that.
No.
It is a fun sci-fi adventure. And that's all it needs to be. It's not trying to be anything else, and I love it for that.
And so that's what I like. Because I like to relax and just have fun. So I think that's probably why it's my favorite. It's not the best, but it's my favorite.
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, that is a fine number 1 show. I love that show. I mean, absolutely phenomenal. I could do a whole, like I said, that's another one. I could do a whole podcast about how much I love.
We just got to start all these different podcasts. Yeah. We'll have to film every single hour of every day.
Yeah, I mean, so good. Who's your favorite Stranger Things character?
My favorite Stranger Things character.
We've never talked about this show. It's so crazy.
I like Dustin.
Really? Okay.
And Steve Harrington, probably my other one.
Yeah.
I always kind of liked Finn Wolfhard's character too.
Yeah, the thing about Finn's character, what's his name in the show? Mike. Yeah.
Mike, yeah, he was a little shit in the 3rd season.
Yeah, in season 1, he's like the main character, right? But in season 2, he doesn't do anything. He's barely there. Yeah. And in season 3, I mean, he's in a relationship with 11, and man, that's it. That's all. I mean,
Yep.
he is falling.
Yeah, they kind of just dropped
to the
him off.
background 100%. He went from the lead to, yeah, he just kind of is dating 11. I mean, she'll
Well,
get mad at him
actually-
once in a while.
After season 3, I'd have to say, now that I'm really thinking about it, Hopper is probably my favorite.
Yeah,
After season 3.
That's mine. To spoil it, my two are Hopper and Steve the Hare Harrington.
All right, so we agree pretty much.
And let's not go without this saying that Winona Ryder is also the heart of that show, and her Joyce Byers is phenomenal. She plays that role
Definitely.
perfectly, and it's such a phenomenal character that I don't think gets enough credit. And Noah Schnapp, I believe I'm pronouncing his last name right, the guy who plays Will Byers, such a phenomenal
guess.
actor. He had the most strenuous role to play in season 2, and he killed it. He killed it.
Especially for a child actor, too, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like,
And also, I mean, Billy, that guy, I wish I could think of his name. That guy he is it. He is such a great actor. And
I'm going to look it up real quick for you while you're talking.
yeah, I mean, think back to the sauna scene, or that. Just think about all of it. I think that guy has a great future in
Dacre Montgomery Harvey.
Yeah, he's phenomenal. I mean, I think there's great things in that man's future. I wish he could have stayed on the show longer, but for what he had, he was phenomenal. Great villain.
Now, before we end this off, I have a spoiler question for you. So, spoiler alert, everybody. So you can just
For
leave.
Stranger Things.
Yeah.
I mean, we're giving the Stranger Things community a lot more
Dude, I could talk about this
leniency
show
than we are
all
the
day.
other, but it's newer, so
That's why I'm going, because it's like just came out not too long ago. Do you think that Hopper is okay? Cool. Me either.
I don't think anybody thinks that.
Yeah. I cried for a little bit, and then they did that. I'm like, you sons of bitches. You made me cry for nothing.
The after credits scene where
the American
I don't
or whatever.
think he's the American though. I think they're kind of subverting
You
our
don't?
expectations in that way, and we're gonna open up season 4, and he's not gonna be the American, and we're all gonna be like, Hopper's dead. But I think what happened was there was that little portal to the Upside Down. I think he jumped into it, and now he's in the Upside Down, and the American is Eleven's father. Boom.
Damn, dude, I'm gonna have to watch the ending of that because I don't remember seeing that open up.
It's just the big gate that they were trying to open. He
Oh,
coulda- yeah,
okay. I didn't know it was open.
Yeah,
though.
he could have jumped in. I mean, I
Okay.
think that's what they're gonna do. They're gonna open it up, reveal that the American is Dr. Brenner, and we're all gonna be like, "Oh my God, Hopper's dead!" But then it's like, now he's in the Upside Down. We got you.
Oh man, now I'm excited for the next season. Damn it, it's gonna be like 2 years.
I mean, these kids are gonna be freaking like a full-grown beard, just like, "Oh, hey, 11, you want to go on a date?" Like just the deepest voice. Like, I mean, they're just like they're growing up too fast.
And now that we have all the true fans here, because the ones that haven't seen Stranger Things 3 clicked off because of spoilers, I have an announcement for a project I've been working on, and this is the first that Austin's heard of it.
Is this the first time that anybody's heard of it?
No, we've actually talked about it before, but it's a revival
Okay.
of a project. So Content Cop, the game base, is in production.
Oh, God.
I've started it. Yeah.
Hey, I'm excited for.
Because we talked about it like last week when we were hanging out, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna re-bring it back up, man. We're gonna deep dive into this man right here.
Hey, I mean, I deserve it. I've slipped up once or twice. I'll give it to myself. So
Now I'm just wondering what your response is gonna be, because I know you have a response planned.
yeah. I mean,
You did.
we'll see. We'll have to. It'll depend on a lot of things. How I respond, I guess. The thing about it is, like, I feel so bad for not having made a video in so long that I feel like if I return with just the biggest meme in the world, I feel like it would be such an insult. So I mean, I gotta make some videos before this Content Cop happens. I'm sure that'll be a mention.
And that's the thing. You'll never know when it's gonna drop either until it hits, because I'm not gonna tell you.
Yes,
It's just gonna happen.
it's gonna be great. And
What if I just lie dormant until you've forgotten about it?
I mean, good on you.
Research takes a while.
But we also have an announcement about this podcast. that we
that's
wanted to
right.
get into, and this is how we'll end it. We up to this point, we've been doing the podcast every single week, and when we started it, we said we're going to try this, and if it doesn't work, we'll change the schedule a little bit. And in order to keep things fresh, and in order to work better with our schedules, so it'll give us a little bit more leniency as to when we record them, we're going to go ahead and switch the podcast to every other week.
Just to make sure everything is as high quality as it can possibly be.
Yeah, so no podcast next week, but the week after that, there will be a podcast, and so on for eternity.
Until we're dead. I'm going to die on camera.
Yeah, and with that, I think that is that's a podcast. I think we can officially stamp that, put the stamp of approval on it, and call it a day.
That was very good. I enjoyed that, and I hope you all did as well.
Yeah, but anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you in the next one.
Bye.
Felicia.
Oh, no.